I found my dad's old diary 3 weeks after his funeral. The house was completely quiet. I was literally just looking for a memory, just something to hold on to. But instead, I stumbled onto a secret that completely unwrote my entire existence.
Welcome to today's Explainer. Now, normally we might dive into data or historical events, but today we are looking at a viral confession that reads straight like a dark thriller. And to truly grasp the heavy, suffocating weight of this, we need to experience this story exactly as the author lived it, step by step, lie by lie.
Section 1. The Hidden Black Diary. So, it was a restless Sunday night. Mom had specifically told me not to touch his things, but grief makes you restless, right? I was digging around his desk, and behind a loose wooden drawer panel, I found it. A dusty, black diary with absolutely no title. My dad was a really stoic guy, so I just assumed it was like old work notes. That is, until I opened the cover. Right there on the first page, it said, "If Daniel ever reads this, it means I failed to tell him the truth myself." My stomach literally dropped to the floor, because Daniel is me. This wasn't some boring work journal. It was a full-blown confession. And as I kept reading, the entries just yanked me back 12 years in time. Section 2. The Night of the Fire. Now, the diary actually started off with genuine joy. He wrote all about my mom finally getting pregnant after years of struggling, and about painting the nursery this bright, hopeful yellow. But then, the ink just shifted. The handwriting got completely frantic. At 2:14 a.m., my dad wrote, "The doctors say the baby died." I actually stopped breathing for a second. I started turning the pages faster. He vividly described the hospital room, my mother screaming. He wrote about how they held their deceased newborn son for 2 agonizing hours. And the date, it perfectly matched my birthday. I tried to rationalize it, like maybe I was a twin, but I just kept reading. At 4:52 a.m., a nurse brought us another baby. A cold sweat just washed over me. The diary explained that there had actually been a massive fire in another wing of the exact same hospital that very night. A woman died in that fire. But her newborn survived. Section 3. A Stolen Second Chance. You have to picture this chaotic scene. The hospital is in total panic. Records are literally being destroyed by fire and water damage. The staff is just completely overwhelmed. And right in the middle of this absolute disaster, an exhausted staff member walks into the room of 2 grieving parents holding an orphaned newborn. "Your mother asked me if God was giving us a second chance." The nurse actually told them that nobody would ever know. The surviving baby from the fire wing had absolutely no family coming for him, and in that desperate, grief-stricken moment, they took me. I wasn't their biological son at all. I was just a random baby handed over in the dark. So think about what this means. Everything I believed for my entire life, my biology, my birthday, my family, it was all a lie. I was a hospital fire survivor with a stolen identity. My entire reality, my whole existence, was built on a crime of opportunity that they masked as some sort of miracle. And man, they desperately covered their tracks. The guilt just ate my dad alive for years, while my mom, she became obsessed with this rigid denial, just pretending everything was perfectly normal. They moved cities 6 months later, changed hospitals, and swore a pact to never, ever speak of it again. I literally grew up sitting on a powder keg. But he couldn't take it to his grave. Just 4 days before he died, he wrote, "Your mother still believes we did the right thing. I don't. You deserve the truth, even if it destroys this family." And right at the bottom of the page, he left me one final devastating clue. My real mother's name, and a note that said, "There may still be someone looking for you." Section 4. The Mother's Confrontation. Okay, so the morning after I found this, I didn't sleep a wink. I just waited for the sun to rise, the tension making me physically sick to my stomach. I finally walked into the kitchen to confront her. The absolute second she saw that black diary in my hands, all the color completely drained from her face. She didn't even attempt to deny it. She just sat down slowly and whispered, "He promised me he burned that." When I asked her if it was all true, she just started crying. And honestly, her tears were the only answer I needed. She tried to explain, claiming she didn't know much, just that my biological mother died in the fire and they couldn't find any relatives. Then she grabbed my hand and said,
but I loved you the second I saw you." I pulled away. Because, honestly, that sentence hurt way more than the lie itself. In that exact moment, it hit me. I wasn't really her son. I was just a convenient replacement for the boy she lost.
Section 5. The Missing Infant Report. Fast forward 2 weeks. My life is in an absolute freefall. Desperate for any kind of answers, I hired a private investigator online to dig deep into the archives, searching for literally any old hospital records from the night of that fire.
Well, yesterday, the investigator actually found something, a surviving incident report from the fire, that had somehow been miraculously spared from the water damage. And attached to my biological mother's file was a note. It read, "Infant temporarily missing during evacuation."
Missing. Not abandoned, missing. I mean, really let that sink in for a second. My adopted parents had told themselves this comforting story that no one was looking for me, that I was just this blank slate. But the official record told a terrifyingly different story.
So, let's look at the timeline we know. 2:14 a.m., their biological son passes. 4:52 a.m., the nurse secretly hands me over to them. But then, I looked at the final timestamp on the investigator's report, just hours after they made the decision to steal me.
At the very bottom of the incident report was this final, shattering sentence. Maternal aunt arrived at hospital at 7:11 a.m. demanding custody of the child. I wasn't alone. I wasn't forgotten. For my entire life, while I was growing up with a fake birthday and a stolen name, my real blood relatives had been out there looking for me.
And, incredibly, that is exactly where this harrowing account ends. The truth is out, the crime has been uncovered, and the family he knew is completely fictional. We actually don't have the ending to Daniel's story yet, but it leaves us completely stunned, forcing us to ask ourselves a massive moral question. If your entire reality was dismantled by a hidden diary and your life was built on a stolen second chance, what do you do next? Think about that until our next explainer.